Auchentoshan the Bartender's Malt, Release 1 and Release 2. How are these? Stay tuned for the Whiskey Whistle. Hey there, Whiskey Geeks. Mark here at Whiskey Whistle, sharing some whiskey awesomeness from Winnipeg, the center of North America, bringing you Auchentoshan the Bartender's Malt, Release 1 and 2. So we'll get them opened and poured. That's number 1. Whoa, very, very heavy pour. That is well over 30 milliliters. Oops. And number 2. Try to pour a little bit less. Control, Mark, control. There we go. They invited some bartenders to help them choose casks to make the whiskey, with the idea in mind that this can be used for blending some great drinks. Auchentoshan the Bartender's Malt, a single malt Scotch whiskey created by the bartender for the bartender. All right, so let's check those out. First of all, the color. I'll just put that right there so you can see them side by side. What do you see for color there? There we go. Roughly the same color. I think number 2 is just a little bit darker, but not by much. It's like just a hair darker. We'll see what happens with that color as far as how it gets interpreted through the palate, the nose, and the finish, and see if there's any meaning to that color at all. Okay, first of all, number 1. It's got a fair bit of sherry component. I want to say it's about half sherry. And number 2, I'm smelling much older oak. Something a little bit older in terms of the average age of the whiskey as well. Hint of sherry, a hint of something peppery, and possibly even a little bit peated here with number 2. The first one, not a lot of the Auchentoshan distillery character here for me. I'm not smelling the grapefruit rind. So for some people, that's a bit of a detraction that they haven't really gone with their house style here. It could be Glengarry. Very different. By the way, number 1 is 47% ABV. Number 2 is 50%. So they've upped the ABV. That may be the effect on the color there, possibly. Okay, the palate for number 1. Grassy, earthy, green. A little bit of sherry. Coconut. A hint of citrus rind. A little bit of something sherried in there. A little bit of light raisin. Number 2. Sharper and pepperier. Again, a little bit of sherry. Maybe some new oak in there, I wonder. Initially, I really liked number 1. As time passed, number 2, okay, first of all, number 2, when I first opened the bottle, I thought, what have I done? Have I wasted some money? But as time passed, I realized no, it just needs a bit of time to aerate and breathe and oxidize. So open it and give it about a month. a little bit peppery, a little bit sherry. They both have a little bit of sherry components. They're both not really much like Auchentoshan 12-year-old, or miles apart from American oak. Maybe a little bit like triple wood, 3-wood, Auchentoshan 3-wood, I think. Okay, let's add some water. See how those do. My new blue raspberry mic. Very cool stuff. Very cool. Okay, so this is release 1. There's a bit of something older there. Annual limited edition 1. 12 different bartenders. Some hay, some old oak. That little bit of sherry there, which is nice. The box says tobacco leaf, but what I'm getting is more like the cigar box, not the tobacco itself, but the box. That cedar type of box with a hint of tobacco-esque notes in it. Okay, how about release number 2? Annual limited edition 02. It's still very peppery. Peppery sweetness. Such a heady palate, peppery, sharp, beefy. We'll add a touch more water to that one because that's 50%. It's interesting that it's so peppery because that's really unlike the Auchentoshan distillery altogether. So angry, such an angry malt. And this will do interesting things in a cocktail. You'll notice the whiskey, which is interesting. And if that's what they're going for, they've really succeeded in making a whiskey that will absolutely affect a cocktail more so than your typical, say, Black Label Johnny Walker. This one's very sweet and will add a clear single malt whiskey note to a cocktail. And it's got lots of older casks going on here. Especially with water. This is like whiskeys from 10 and 20 years ago. It reminds me of how whiskey tasted when I first started drinking whiskey. Scotch whiskey. Let's get on to the WhiskyWhistle Whisky Scores for Auchentoshan, the Bartender's Malt 1 and the Bartender's Malt 2. What's that going to be? Well, folks, the WhiskyWhistle Whisky Score for Bartender's Malt, the Bartender's Malt Release 1, number 1, that's going to be 86 out of 100. Yep, you heard right, 86 out of 100 is the WhiskyWhistle Whisky Score for Release 1. For the Bartender's Malt Annual Limited Edition number 2, that is going to be 84. 84 out of 100 is the WhiskyWhistle Whisky Score for Release 2 from the Bartender's Malt at Auchentoshan. 86 and 84. If you can get that one, I highly recommend it. This one, if you are a bartender that wants to create some unique cocktails with a clear, peppery Scotch whiskey note, then this is definitely an option. It's also very reasonably priced. I think I paid less than $70 Canadian for that one. So nicely priced, good strength. They're both nicely strength at 47 and 50%. Excellent stuff. Anyway, I really enjoyed those. Number 2, again, keep in mind, you want to let that breathe a little bit to really enjoy it for what it is as a single malt whiskey. Sip it neat. If you are mixing that, then just go right ahead and mix it, and it'll do wonders in certain whiskey cocktails. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, click the little emblem over here so that you are subscribed to Whiskey Whistle. Hit the bell so you're notified of the future Whiskey Whistles coming out. And check me out on Patreon. Become a Whiskey Whistle crew member at patreon.com/Whiskey Whistle. All right, check me out over there. And if you happen to be in Winnipeg or Manitoba, then check out the Winnipeg Whiskey Club and become a member. WinnipegWhiskeyClub.com is the website. You can also check me out on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, okay? Take care, everybody. We'll see you for the next one. Goodbye. Thanks for watching Whiskey Whistle. Be sure to subscribe, and don't forget to give this video a like and leave a comment down below. Be sure to stay tuned next time to join me, the host of the show, Mark, as I explore more whiskeys with you. Take care now, and we'll see you next time.